Welcome, CDPEs. Tony Martinez here. Happy New Year. This is the first session of the new year, 2024. No doubt will be an exciting, challenging year for all of us. But one of the reasons why we're here today is to show you what we've had up our sleeve, what we've come up with to help you to build your pipeline of pre-foreclosures and truly help you dominate in the pre-foreclosure space. Now, I think a lot more folks are going to be joining us as we go along. We have about 30 right now out of 90, but I am recording the session. So even if you came in late or whatever, we're going to be sending this out to everyone in our membership, probably later on this afternoon, if the latest first thing in the morning. So what we're doing today is a grand reveal of a modification of a program that's currently in place. Now, if you are currently an advanced member, a CDPE advanced member, that means that you are receiving monthly access to the marketing kits, and you also have your own website, dedicated website. I would love for you in the chat area to go ahead and just put I'm advanced or me advanced, whatever you want to do. I want to kind of get a feel for how many advanced members we have currently on the call. Okay, so Amy is, okay. Now, this doesn't affect you in the slightest at all, folks. This is not something that's meant to confuse you at all. In fact, I think what it may do is remind you of some of the features of the advanced and the marketing tools that you're not really currently utilizing to its fullest. What we decided to do was to listen to our membership. From the very beginning, when we launched the advanced program, and I think it was toward the tail end of 2022, and I think the first one went out January or December of that year, we had a lot of agents come to us and said, Tony, we love these marketing tools, but I don't want the website. I don't need the website. So it was, I don't want it, I don't need it. And we also got a lot of folks saying, listen, I can't afford it right now. At $197 a month, I'm sure the value is there, but we can't afford it. So we had to go through some logistics and some issues to work through. But now we're happy to say that we do have the advanced marketing kits available without the website. And obviously the prices come way down. And I think what it's going to enable to do is going to enable a lot more CDPEs to engage in some very professional, aggressive, effective marketing without breaking the bank, right? But before I introduce Brandon, who is my cohort in this whole thing, we work very closely together. I wanted to spend about 5 to 7 minutes to remind you all of why it is so important to take your lead generation to another level. We get feedback from our members all the time, and it's not always positive. I'll be the first to admit. And typically when somebody says something negative about us, is they'll say something like, well, I haven't gotten any business, as though that's our fault. And I said, well, what are you doing about it? We've never, ever promoted a CDPE as a lead generation source. We're an educational component. We try to create agent-to-agent referrals by having as many of our members participate in our CDP Find a CDP map. But at the end of the day, it's 100% up to the individual members to go out there and promote their services. And the reality is a lot of them are just not doing it. I'll give you an example. I posted this in our Facebook group. And if you're not a member of our private Facebook group, Jeanette will post that link in there, because that's one of the valuable membership benefits that maybe you're not taking advantage right now. But I mentioned, hey, have you ever heard of anybody that's joined the gym, never went, canceled their membership, and their excuse was, it's not working for me? You know, that's kind of how we feel at the CDPE, because we put on so many trainings and so many classes and all these things, and we just need you to meet us halfway. But in case you, Okay, I'm going good, actually. Thank you for asking. So let's find out who that person and mute them. But let's talk about some stats, right? Because everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but not their own facts. And I'm going to admit to a mistake that I made. And I think this is one of the reasons why some CDPEs have elected to walk away from the distressed property segment. They're looking at me like saying, well, the recession never happened. Okay. We don't see anywhere near the foreclosures that we see in 2008, blah, 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 blah. Going, well, listen, think about what you're saying. As much as I stand to gain by that happening, I'm not staying awake at night praying, Lord, please let there be a recession and a whole lot of people start losing their jobs and a whole lot of people start losing their homes so that my CDPs can make more money and that I can make more money. Think about that. That's ludicrous, right? The reality is there's always been foreclosures. There's always going to be foreclosures, regardless of what's going on with the economy. Now, are there still signs that point to maybe, just maybe, it getting tougher for the American consumer and the American homeowner to make their payments? Yeah, but I'm not going to focus on that kind of stuff anymore. That's one of the mistakes I made. I kept talking about what was coming. And at the end, I have no control over this. You know what I want everyone to focus on? What's there right now, the business that exists right now. And here are the numbers. Now, this chart, and by the way, I use Atom data all the time. You guys should be going to Atom data at least once a month. Normally by the 12th of each month, they release the numbers from the month before or the quarter before. In this case, I'm going to share with you the year before. But this was January through June. And I would start all of my classes showing this and saying, you all see this? This really shows you very visually what happened in our country, starting with the crisis in 2008. And we had the most foreclosure activity in 2010. As you see the situation improve economically, the market got better, foreclosures started to go down. Didn't go away. Even when we hit COVID and we hit the moratoriums, they still didn't completely go away. But we saw a huge drop in 2021. Then 2022, things started loosening up again because the moratorium started getting, released. And then through the middle of 2023, we already had exceeded the 2022 numbers. And I'm going, guys, this is going to get worse. It's going to get worse. So let me show you the numbers that just came out. I apologize for the quality, but this is exactly how it is on their site. So there you go. You see the numbers. This one actually goes back all the way to 2005. So even when the market was rocking and rolling back in 05 and 06, there were still significant foreclosures in the market. Now, you get down to 2023, we ended the year with 357,000 plus foreclosures. These are filings. Filings include everything from the notice of default to the foreclosure sale date all the way through. So it's all like in one big category. So it exceeded 2022, definitely exceeded 2021 because of the moratoriums, exceeded 2020, and we're knocking on the door of 2019. And I do believe that in this 2024, we will exceed the 2019 numbers. So how can anybody intelligently argue that there's no foreclosure activity out there? Of course there is. And this is the low-hanging fruit because the vast majority of real estate agents are avoiding this segment like the plague. And they will continue to avoid it like the plague. This is why it's up to you to take the lead. Now, as far as zip codes, this might get your attention. Top 10 zip codes for the highest foreclosure rates in 2023. Chicago is leading the way in just about every category now, okay? But Texas, you can see, so you got Chicago's got three different zip codes in there. We got Cleveland represented. Can't believe how many foreclosures are coming out of South Carolina. South Carolina numbers are growing. Florida, Jacksonville, I have real estate leaders of large companies that won't even talk to me about training their agents because they won't admit that Florida has a problem. How can Florida have an issue when our sales are so strong? Well, look, We got Jacksonville and Kissimmee. All right, again, you can pull these numbers up on adamdata.com. As far as 2023 foreclosure filings, they were up 10% over 2022 and a whopping 136% over 2021. So you see the trend, you see where it's going, undeniable. You can't question this. Who are the top 5 states? Probably a lot of the states that are represented on this call. California, Texas, my home states in third place, New York and Illinois. Now, if you're in any of these states, this should not be a surprise to you. If this is a surprise to you, it's because you haven't been paying attention. And now you are going to start paying attention and you're going to start approaching these pre-foreclosures. When it comes to the foreclosure rates itself, which ones have the higher rates? It's the same 10, they just switch order. New Jersey, Illinois, Delaware, Maryland, Ohio, South Carolina, Nevada, Florida, Connecticut, and Indiana. Reminds me of 2008 all over again, very similar in terms of how what went down. Now let's talk about actual completed foreclosures. And these are the ones that become REOs. Now, one of the most common questions I'm asked is, so you're going to teach me about REOs, right? I go, no. The CDPE isn't and never will be an REO class. In fact, we hate REOs. Every time an REO happens, I feel like we failed that homeowner. Because if the CDPs are mobilized and they're out there knocking on doors and making phone calls and sending postcards and sending letters and doing foreclosure prevention workshops and doing their own podcasts, you're going to reach a lot of folks that are in the foreclosure process, and you're going to present some options to them. Some of the options are going to be maybe, just maybe, for them to be able to stay in their home. But most of them, unfortunately, are going to have to exit the property. You're there to help them exit with dignity. And that means listing the home for sale, whether it has equity or not. So REO agents, I still don't understand the appeal, because anybody that's ever been an REO agent will tell you it is not what people think. It is a very difficult segment of the business. And you're standing in line hoping and praying that maybe, just maybe, a servicer will give you a shot at the business. Why? When you have the opportunity to go in front of homeowners directly, homeowners that have the authority, the power to go ahead and list the properties with you, and you don't have to deal with that whole corporate scenario, and you can help these folks avoid one of the most devastating things that can happen to them financially and emotionally. But once again, total of 42,000 people lost their homes to foreclosure. In this, now, here's my thinking. How many of these 42,000 went in there knowing that they had other options, that they could list their home for sale as a regular sale, they could list their home for sale as a short sale, they could do all this, and knowing that these options were available to them, they opted to let the bank take their home. You see how ridiculous that sounds? Who does that? And that's why it's up to us to become very aggressive. I could say be assertive. No, be aggressive. You got to take the gloves off. You got to go out there now and start reaching these people, because they're getting taken to the cleaners. People are losing their homes that have equity. Explain that to me. Why wouldn't they list it with one of you and pocket as much as they can? Why let the bank take their home where the bank is going to assess all of these fees and penalties and take that right off the top? And just as a reminder, I hope that I don't have to remind you all on the call, but I'm constantly having to educate the community. It's just because someone has equity doesn't mean that they can afford their monthly payments. And you see what's going on in the economy. You see credit card debt is over $1 trillion. Consumer debt is all-time high. You got car loan delinquencies now at an all-time high. You have 62% of Americans that are living paycheck to paycheck. You have about 33% of Americans that earn over $150,000 a year living paycheck to paycheck. And you have only 40% of Americans that have $1,000 in savings in an account ready to handle an emergency, right? So you see a lot of things happening that I believe is going to contribute to more of these. Anyway, I'm gonna
Hey,
go ahead and get off my soapbox there.
Tony,
Yeah,
can I hop on your
yeah,
soapbox?
I was ready to turn it over to you, brother. Go talk to me.
Well, I I just recognized, when we were going through a lot of this, we were getting numbers on our face. And maybe that's something we should do with our CDPEs is start giving them some ammunition and because to your point, like not just the foreclosure stuff, it's underwater and maybe if you're on this channel and this call right now, Austin, Texas is leading the market with underwater homes. So I agree on the foreclosure side. And you're talking about people that are going through foreclosure, absolutely that have equity, and you're just scratching your head going, why was that even an option, right?
Hmm.
Think about, and I know we talked about these stats on another mastermind. The last 3 years, there has been just over 17 million residential sale transactions. The last 3 years, and of those, 4.5 million people bought those properties and put 3.5% down or less.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to get numbers thrown at you, that's one thing, but are we doing enough? Right? And I think that's where you're going to segue over to me here a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I post these numbers in our on our Facebook chat every month, every time I come across articles and everything. And then sometimes people say, "Man, all you're posting is negative stuff." I go, "Folks, that's the space that we're in."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you want happy stuff, let's start marketing balloons and ice cream at the park. We're in a very serious segment of the market, and we are working with people that are going through a very difficult time. Um, uh, dailyjobcuts.com. Go to dailyjobcuts.com so that you can go ahead and see the number of layoffs that are happening. And they do an excellent job of even doing regional layoffs. So you got small companies. You may see a small company that's laying off, 15 people or 25 people. But what if these folks are laying people off in an area that you serve, an area that you serve? What do you think might be happening to these folks once those jobs are gone? They might be entering into a very difficult time. And we're starting to get news of big layoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's is it Citibank or Chase? One of the two that's laying off 20,000 people?
Yeah, Chase.
Chase. Yeah, that's serious stuff. So anyway, before we turn it over to Brandon, I want to remind you all that one of the biggest issues that agents have that work in this area is they don't know how to overcome objections. And I was talking to one CDP, and I said, "But when people say this, what do you say?" And to me, it always comes like I'm just a big believer in knowing what to say, when to say it, and how to say it, and just being able to rattle off immediately. And it dawned on me, I got to do a class on this. So Jeanette's going to post in the chat area now a link to I think it's coming up February 8th or something like that. I'm doing an entire CDP members only training on just overcoming objections. I want you to gather up all the objections that you had, bring them, and let's work through them. And I may have the perfect response, or another CDP may have an even better response, but we're going to create an environment there where we're helping each other to feel more empowered to address these issues. Rich, thank you for the update. eBay just laid off thousands. Yeah. Now, Brandon and I go back. Oh my God, I don't know if we want to admit how many years we go back. So for those of you that know the CDP story, you know that I was one of the first on the scene with the Sharpens when they opened up. I think their first instructor. I became their lead instructor, their instructor of instructor. And Brandon was one of the folks that auditioned to become a CDP instructor. And he was one of the few that actually was approved. Took him under my wing, taught him the CDPE, and then the CIAS was launched. The CIAS was launched by the Sharpens as the sister designation, and that is a certified investor agent specialist. And that is a niche that you all should all be getting into. Now, no sooner did I buy the CDPE that Brandon bought the CIAS from the Sharpens as well. So we've been working like brothers ever since then. So he is in charge of producing all of these monthly kits so that they're automatic on the first of every month. The CDP members that are signed up for this, I have them ready to go. So it's all up to Brandon now to show you just how turnkey, how impressive this program is. And then, of course, we have some very special offers for our current CDPEs to be among the inaugural group to join us. So, Brandon, it's all you.
Thanks, Tony. You mind giving me share screen real quick?
I think you do have
Do
that,
I
but
have
I need to stop on my end. There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, good day, everyone. As Tony mentioned, I'm blessed and honored to be a part of all the things that we are providing and doing here. We're going to talk a little bit about the marketing. I get all fired up like Tony does about this stuff because it's important. And I've been doing this for 30 years. This will be my 31st year in real estate. I've got a team in Los Angeles. My wife is my partner. I'm in the trenches like you guys are. We have a short sale listed on the market that's a VA. I know this stuff is real, and it's real interesting to me, not just the dynamics of what's going on in our industry, which is significant, the market, but as a real estate agent, I really do understand how challenging it can be to stay in front of our database and our sphere. More importantly, how to meet new people to put in our database and hopefully grow our business. And creating some type of a niche, I think, goes that extra mile. And so knowing these things, not only was Tony able to keep CDPE going and keep you guys alive there, we've got a whole new marketing arm now. And again, just some of us are old school. Some of us have been around, and I get it. I understand it. I don't want to say that I'm old, but things have changed. Technology has changed. How we market and promote ourselves has changed. And one thing that I think we're good at is we're good at paying attention what the trends are. More importantly, what is the consumer asking? What is the consumer demanding? And I'll be honest with you, I don't think that most real estate agents pay attention to those things. And there's a little statistic right there. There's a little comment that I want everybody to realize, and that is there is a new generation of kick-ass agents that are crushing it. And they're in their first year doing 30 plus transactions or more. And what we're finding that's common with that group of individuals who are crushing it is that they're really, really good at marketing. And I think I want to make sure you guys understand there's two components when it comes to just marketing. And that's the first, do I have an audience? Do I know how to get in front of an audience? And the second thing is do I have a message and do I have anything of value that would intrigue somebody to want to do business with me? Well, the CDPE Advanced is a great starting point on a lot of different levels. We should all know as licensed real estate agents, we have two primary goals. We have database nurturing and we have lead generation. And what we're probably really bad at is frequency, consistency, and the value that we bring. And I'm going to give you a couple examples here in a second. And some of our biggest challenges include maybe I don't have a system, or maybe I do have a system and I'm not very good at using it. Maybe I really don't know what to send. Maybe I'm sending stuff, but nobody's responding because maybe what I'm sending isn't what people want. Maybe what I'm doing is competing in a very red ocean space, meaning I'm sending the same things over and over again. And the best example I can give you of that is if you live in a home, a condo or a townhouse, you can't tell me that you don't get postcards, flyers, and things left at your door from other real estate agents. It's all the same stuff. And that's what we call red ocean. Sometimes when we get busy, we just don't have the time. So how do we capture more leads? How do we get in front of people, to Tony's point, who are in some type of a distress and they don't know who to call? So how do we get these people to call us? How do we get the people that we already know who might know somebody else in trouble to think of us and call us? What can we do to better promote our message and get people to at least think of us and engage? And why should they pay attention to it? How can you, as a real estate professional, just have better conversations? You're still in a competitive space as a licensee, right? I don't know how many licensed real estate agents you have in your backyard, but I'm sure there's quite a few. And if we just look at what is expected of us, if you were to take Housing Wire, The Close, and 1000 Watt, and look at their surveys and look at what they do for us to help lead us down a path. When you talk about best practices for 2024, the consumer says, I want messages from you based on what my needs are and what I'm looking for. So understanding your target market, personalizing your communication. We're really good at just information puking on people, but we don't necessarily do a good job of personalizing that. Adding the true value that people want. They want to build trust. They want to know that the information that you're providing them is actually accurate and worthwhile. We know that we're in a headline world, and we know that there's a lot of divisiveness, especially with the media and how things are projected. They don't want us to be over salesy. They want us to really have conversations with them that are meaningful, and it sounds like at least we care about what they're trying to do. They don't want us to be annoying. And one of the best things we can do is learn how to test and optimize. See, I think we're really good at, we get the listing and we just come up with a template and we just send it out to the world. Here's my listing. Here's the address. Here's the price. Here's the bedrooms. And you're not providing an opportunity for people to actually reach out to you with that strategy. So back to the strategies: quality email campaigns, text messaging, personalized videos, direct mail pieces, phone calls, and using more than one channel. And in the context of what a channel is, that's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's TikTok, that's LinkedIn. All of those things are what we consider to be a channel. So what we've done to help bridge the gap is to, one, expose what red ocean is. And this is what you guys all do. Just sold, just listed, thinking of selling. You got your cute little, right, recipes, which I think is great. All of this stuff is still a value add, but I want you to realize everybody is doing this. If you want to send out recipe cards, the first of you that can invent a recipe card that's scratch and sniff, I think that would be really cool. So if you could do a scratch and sniff, that would be amazing. Market updates. We're all part of the market updates. So I'm not discounting that you don't need to be doing any of these things. These are time consuming. What I want you to understand, though, is most of the time, this is like a post or a placement. There's no call to action. You're giving them all the information, so they don't even need you really at the end of the day. And if you think about that just listed and you're providing the address and all the information, why should they call you? And so I think we need to change our strategy, and I think we need to change what that looks like. And I'm going to give you some examples over the past year of some of the marketing, copy, and the content that we provide in these monthly marketing campaigns. So this was January of 2023, and this is the topic. When was the last time you had an equity checkup? And notice there's a call to action. Call me today. And this is just an example of a postcard. The Great Home Equity Resurgence, because we had a ton of equity gain over the last couple of years. And to Tony's point, they could still be in foreclosure, but it's a huge benefit when they have equity. What's next? Expert advice for homeowners and forbearance. What do you need to know? There are still 1.8 million borrowers out there in the forbearance program. If you're not aware of that, it's a real, I guess it's a reality for some folks that even if they do have equity and they're in forbearance, all of those missed payments, all of those late fees, all of those penalties, they just get tacked onto the principal balance. And there's a high probability their equity is shrinking just because they're in forbearance. Just a couple other examples of the marketing that we've been able to provide. Distressed homeowners struggle as interest rates continue to rise. Selling distressed properties, strategies for homeowners if you need help. Should I buy? Should I hold? Should I sell? Renting versus selling, weighing the pros and cons for distressed homeowners. Avoiding foreclosure scams. Understanding the legal implications of distressed properties. The risk versus reward when it comes to distressed properties. Wholesaling. What is wholesaling and how to protect yourself? Understanding the spike in foreclosure filings, feeling financially squeezed. These are just some of the topics and the quality of the marketing that we're now doing, which is amazing. And in this monthly campaign, you get a calendar that gives you an idea of which day you should be sending which of these components. You get a digital magazine. You get a flyer that is what we call generic. So it has none of your branding on it, but you get a flyer that's customizable that you can add your branding to. Same thing with a report. I'm going to give you an example of what a report looks like. They're customizable. You get 7 social media posts, hashtags, the copies, the headline, everything that you need to copy and paste. You get 2 email templates that you can send to your sphere that All of this is tied to the monthly topic. Handwritten notes, texting templates, video templates, postcard templates, a letter to send to your sphere, press releases, and blogs. So this is a do-it-yourself all-in-one campaign. And something that we've noticed, and this is totally okay, is a lot of our agents embrace probably 3 to 6 of these items and they get really good at them. And they might not use the other ones. That's okay because they're there for whatever reason if you do want to use it. Some of us are better at social media, some of us aren't. Some of us still like to do handwritten notes and some of us don't. The point is, most of how we do our prospecting and marketing, it's done for you every month in this kit as it relates to that topic. And the cool thing about it is you can have a free Canva account. You can use Microsoft Word or Google Docs or Google Sheets to edit any of these at your convenience, because it is about you. And we want you to have your name, your information, and your branding all associated with it. This is an example of the 2024 January report. And it's 4 pages and it's all tied to, are you feeling financially squeezed? And the whole idea behind this is not only to give them some detailed reading and information, but this is where you customize the last page in Canva. So you can personalize this. You can put your brokerage information on there. You can put your website information on there. If you're already in the CDPE advanced program where you have your website, this is where you're editing it. The whole idea is to send them somewhere. Really, what's cool about this report, though, this is what we call a lead magnet. So if you get good at lead generation, as an example, you have to offer something of value that's intriguing to them. And I know everyone on here has probably fallen victim to this, which is you see something, an ebook as an example, and you put in your name and your email and they capture your lead and you get the PDF version of whatever that ebook was. That's exactly what this report is designed to do. So all of this ties together. So you take that report as an example, and now all of the additional marketing that's included, whether it's the postcard, whether it's the email, whether it's the social post, it's designed to get people to respond to you, reach out to you, or engage with you because this topic might be important to them. So this is an example of the front and back of that postcard for January. Here's some examples of the social media that you get with it. Here's an example of just one of the social media posts. This is the post that you're going to put. This is the headline. This is the ad copy with the hashtags. So it's really copy and paste. You can edit it. You can add to this however you're doing your marketing. Here's an example of one of the email templates. The subject line, again, is all tied into it, and everything's highlighted in red where we feel you need to make an edit, which is obviously your name, maybe your company, your information. Where are you sending these folks? And there's just a ton of stuff that's super easy to use. And again, a ton of information. We don't want you to be overwhelmed with it. But we want you to understand that every month you have something now that you can offer to your current database, to your lead generation and prospecting program that's unique and different and better than what any other real estate agent out there is offering. And so this is what you'll get every month. On day 1 of the month, you get a little email blast and an announcement that your new kit has arrived. You log into the dashboard and there you have it. Tony, take it away.
Okay, why don't we do this? Well, maybe there's questions, but I also wanted to point something out. I'm a huge fan of postcard marketing. You know, as I teach the CDP and we get into the marketing phase, I always say, I know some folks are really into letters and letters can be effective, but one of my things has always been a letter has to go into an envelope that may never be opened. So when you send a postcard, especially the way ours is designed for it to be an oversized postcard, 2 up on the page, you stand the best chance of that actually getting read. Now, also keep in mind that every time someone touches that postcard, it's a potential lead for you. The postal carrier sees the postcard and maybe they or someone they know is going through a difficult time. They can take a photo of it and send it off to that person. So all of these things that I just want to do is to keep it in mind. We know that the typical real estate agent has so many things right now going on, so many plates that they're spinning. What they don't want to do is be a content creator. They just don't want to be and on top of being a content creator, they don't want to be a graphic artist and put together this amazingly attractive piece. It's just too much. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to give this as a tip for you guys. I'm going to be as transparent as possible. The vast majority of CDPs will not do this because that's just human nature. You know that we in real estate have the largest collection of unread books, unwatched CDs, unplayed tapes. We buy things because we think it's the magic bullet, and then we don't do anything about it. You know, I'm a broker. My wife and I own our own office. We have about 240 agents on any given day. I have a distressed property division. Think about that, right? They're all CDPEs. And the vast majority of them are not doing anything at all. You know what I told Brandon a couple months ago? I go, Brandon, you know what? I'm going to start marketing my services again. I'm going to have to go out there and start doing what the agents are not, build the leads, and then I'll decide whether I want to keep the leads or send them to somebody on my team or not.
Hey,
It's
Tony,
just, yeah,
to that point, you know, obviously, right, we're in real estate as well, and I know where agents struggle with their marketing, and
yeah,
I'll tell you right now, and maybe we should do one of these little classes for the CDPEs in one of the monthly webinars, and that's have a conversation about what wholesaling is. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is if anyone on here knows what wholesaling is and how many real estate wholesalers are out there, they're crushing it and they're doing the lead gen that you're not. They're working with distressed homeowners. You're not. They're in front of them and you're not.
yeah.
So
And
it's
that's
an
not to the
example.
benefit of the homeowner either.
No, but that's
Yeah,
an example of there are people out there that are knocking on doors and leaving flyers and doing stuff
yeah.
that we're not.
That we're not doing.
Yep.
We're not doing. All right, let's cut to the chase. We wanted to make this as affordable as possible. Let's start with the fact there's absolutely zero, no, nada setup fee. There's no setup fee whatsoever to get into this program. It is $119 per month. $119 per month. Now, if you're on the advanced program right now, the one that has this plus the website, you're paying $197. This by itself is $119. But Brandon and I got together and we said, you know what? If somebody makes a 6-month commitment, if they make a 6-month commitment, we'll bring it down to $99 per month because you have to do at least 6 months. You know, marketing in real estate is you have to do it until it works because it will work if you do it long enough. So what we're doing right now is we're inviting those of you that are interested to go to our website. We're going to go ahead and either, Brandon, you could show the website or post it and fill out a quick form on there that we'll receive. Because here's the thing, please pay attention. You have to be a current CDPE to participate in this program. This is not something that's available to someone that's never gone through the class, doesn't know what they're talking about, and it's not available to someone that was a CDPE 15 years ago or someone that was a CDP up until last week and they decided to not renew. Only for active members. So first, we're going to double check that you're current and active, and then we'll go ahead and send you the link to physically sign up, and you can determine if you want to go on just monthly at $119 or if you want to go ahead and commit to the 6 months at $99. And then Brandon, you had an idea to make it even more enticing for current CDPs to get on board early now. What are we talking about doing? About giving them an extra month or something like that?
Yeah, we were gonna do if they paid for 6 months, we were gonna give them an extra month of it. Yep.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right.
Yep.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we just, I mean, that's it. That's our story and we're sticking to it. I think that if you've been looking for something that can help you start to more aggressively market to distressed properties, this can be the one that for you. But let's open it up to some Q&A. Who has a question they want to go ahead and unmute themselves and ask a question or type it into the chat area so that we can answer for everyone.
Yeah, and before that happens, real quick, just so everybody knows, we are, for those who sign up, we're going to be doing a workshop for those that are paid members on how to use these tools and best practices and best strategies. And if you're not really sure how the right way to run a Facebook ad, as an example, be more than happy to show you how to leverage these great resources. So we'll be working on that for you.
Yeah, you know what people have asked me is you have to purchase a really good color printer that does thicker paper, dual sided, because you're not doing 500 or 1,000. Most agents, what they're doing is every day they're pulling up the NOD list, and you're subscribed to, for example, RedX. I am an affiliate member of RedX. They're going to be speaking at my conference in April along with Brandon. And so every day you can log in and you can pull up the current list of people who are just now officially in the foreclosure process. And you may just go ahead and print out 5 sheets. You cut them in half. Now you got 10 postcards. And those are the ones you slap a stamp on it and you send it out. So this is very select marketing. This is not a blanket carpet coverage. You're going selectively to the people that are already in the foreclosure situation.
Right. And to your point, you don't need to go print out 2,000 postcards and have that expense, and you don't need to worry about that. You need to be strategic, right? The other thing,
Absolutely.
back to editing this, you guys, if for those of you that understand the power of QR codes right now, there's another example of you can add your QR code to any of this marketing as well.
Okay, so we have here, I don't know if this is in our wheelhouse or not. Tamara asked, can you show us how to do a Facebook ad with a landing page where people can go fill out for using one of these marketing pieces? I know I can't. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's in your area of expertise or not, Brandon.
Yeah, I think we should, because um we want to encourage you taking advantage of the great content and the stuff that's in this kit. So the more you learn how to use it and pay attention to the success stories, right? As an example, that email template, we keep tabs on this for folks, and it's about a 44% open rate, and the industry standard is 32%. So there's obviously people that want to learn about what this information is.
Yeah, okay. Or listen, I completely lost my train of thought right now.
Oh,
So any other questions out there right now at all that we can address? Okay, Cheryl, who is an OG from way back. I still have the photo of when I taught the class. Everything goes $99 was the cost back in 2010. This is a great deal. Yeah, I mean, we want to make it as affordable as possible. Oh, I know what I was talking about. So I mentioned RedX, right? And Jeanette, you can post a link to RedX. That's our affiliate link. But I signed up for their ad builder. See, RedX is the one that I can go in there and I can pull up daily list of FSBOs and expires and distress and everything else. But I also signed up for their ad builder program. And all it really is a super easy interface for me to be able to do Facebook targeted advertising. So check this out, what I did, right? For the purposes of our conference, the Riches and Niches conference coming up in April, I uploaded about 55,000 names and emails and information of real estate agents in Florida, just Florida. Now I'm doing targeted Facebook advertising to that custom list. Now, where am I going with this? When you subscribe to a service like RedX or one of these others, you're getting a list of distressed homeowners. You're getting their addresses, phone numbers, you're getting emails in some cases as well. You can do the same thing if you have an ad builder type program. You can upload them as a custom audience so that when you create one of these pieces, or not create, when you utilize one of these pieces, you can directly target to the list that you uploaded. Oh, I think that's really the best use of the social media advertising.
love it.
Okay. So that's the next step for me as I launch my distressed property division now, is to take as many of those folks as far back as possible, export it from RedX, import it into Ad Builder, and target them with the advanced pieces going out.
That's awesome. Love it.
Thank you. Any other questions, folks? It's okay. Okay. Great question, Catherine. No, absolutely not. The current advanced marketing program is absolutely still in place. It's just that that one is this plus the website. So for someone that says, hey, I still want to get the website as part of it, we still have that program. And we knew it was going to be a little confusing, but we just want to make it clear that what we're able to offer now is a standalone marketing kit, less the website. But if someone says, I still want the whole enchilada, yes, they can absolutely come on board for that as well.
I'm hungry now. You said enchilada.
Enchilada? Yeah,
No.
me too. Okay. So I think we could I think we're done unless there's somebody else that has a question and everything else. And look, you may have some other questions on this. We know that we're kind of going pretty fast and we're doing like a 20,000-foot overview, but you can just write to support at CDPE, support at cdpe.com. And if need be, Brandon, you're willing to jump on a quick Zoom call with someone for 15, 20 minutes and answer their questions if need be, right?
Yeah, and again, I think what we should do right away is calendar out a couple marketing workshops
Yeah.
and
No,
help
no,
them.
that's a given.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, folks. Well, I think that does it for now. Please, if you have not signed up for the Overcoming Objections class that we got coming up in a couple of weeks, please do so. Bring your toughest objections. Hey, Brandon, how about would you join me that day as kind of like a panelist and
Yeah.
help me with some objection handling kind of scenarios there?
I can even give you some objections.
No, no, listen. I'm afraid of what you might throw my way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Yeah.
All right, we'll do it. All right, folks. Thank you so much, A, for being a CDP and for being committed to helping folks avoid foreclosure. God bless you all and have an incredible, prosperous, and healthy 2024. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.